As marketers, we've spent years climbing the ranks on Google. Traffic's been steady and the C-suite has been happy. And then one day we checked analytics and traffic was down up to 20% overnight. What happened and what can we do about this? That is what we are talking about today with our Senior Director of Digital Strategy and AI, Chelsea Craig. Chelsea, thanks so much for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
So let's start with the whiplash that we're seeing. I know in kind of my corner of the world, which is paid media, we are seeing, less visibility, poorer click rates, fewer leads. So it's getting harder and harder for, people like me to deliver reports because, we're not doing anything dramatically different, but we're seeing poorer and poorer results.
Yeah, we're seeing that too. And that's because of something called zero-click behavior. So that means that people are getting what they need right on the platform, and they really have no need to click through to your brand's website. That could be in search, that could be an AI assistant, or that could even be on social.
So Chelsea, I think what we are all realizing is that this isn't going away, and we basically need to change how we're working because it's not just about web traffic. It has a much bigger impact, right?
Exactly. We have to change the way we are measuring success. So click-through rates and website traffic cannot be our main metric anymore. We also have to think about brand visibility beyond organic search. And we have to think about structuring content in different ways and on different channels. So thinking about social and places like Reddit and email to get that visibility in front of potential customers.
So let's pause for just 1 second because I do want to talk about Reddit. It feels like everyone is talking about Reddit. And I know that AI platforms, trust and listen to certain platforms more than others because they deem them more credible. So why the focus especially on Reddit right now?
Well, Reddit's really popular right now because it's a bunch of people giving their honest opinions about things, brands, products, services. It's authentic conversation, and AI trusts that more than what you say about yourself. So when it comes to factual information, obviously AI is not going to be citing Reddit in that instance. It will use things like Wikipedia or WebMD, but ultimately a platform like Reddit has a lot of honest and authentic information on it, and that's what AI likes to use to generate responses.
That's really interesting, Chelsea. And I have to say, good luck on Reddit brands. We hope that, you've watched our previous episode where we talked about platform-specific creative.
Well, we laugh about it, but that is where, these large language models are getting their information from. So brands need to start thinking about how are they going to get cited. And really the only way to get cited on Reddit would be to be on the platform. And be present on the platform. So that's what brands need to think about.
So just to be clear, we aren't necessarily telling all of our clients to rush over to Reddit and Wikipedia and start prioritizing whole new channels. There are obviously ways for clients to restructure their existing content so that they have a better likelihood of that content being cited by AI, right?
Yeah, if you are not ready to start down that path of jumping onto a new platform and prioritizing that, go back to what you already have, what you probably already spent a lot of time and resources on, and start to restructure that content so that it's more likely to be found or cited by LLMs and other AI platforms. So thinking about different headings and bulleted lists, putting factual information.
What I think I'm hearing you say is that ultimately some people will, potentially not end up on your website, but that content is still really valuable, right?
Yeah, for sure. A personal example for me is I've recently been a little obsessed with perfume, and I made a few purchases, and I did all of that without ever going to a brand website. I went on social media, TikTok specifically. I searched, I found videos about the different perfumes, different influencers. I did all my research. I took that over to ChatGPT. Chat helped me put together a prioritization list of what I should buy first and what I might like based on some of the scent notes. And then I asked Chat for links to different distributors that I could purchase it from, and ultimately went to those websites and made a purchase in a very short amount of time. So all that content is still important, and it's important that it's on a lot of different platforms that people are actually searching on, so social and AI platforms, and ultimately it still drove sales.
So let's circle back a bit to performance and metrics, because that's how kind of we've been proving our worth for the past 15 years or so. And again, we know that things are changing and we need to redefine our success metrics. So like, how are we doing that?
Yeah, managing expectations for what matters now, right? So we are starting to inject different data points into our strategies, into our reporting. Old Faithful, Google, GA4, sorry, you can get a lot of information in there already about which different AI tools are driving users to your website. But outside of that, using different tools like SEMrush, there's a whole AI section within that tool now, and you can get a lot of information about, not just keywords, but also prompts. So doing some prompt research to understand exactly which prompts people are using and which different sources have been cited to generate that response.
So Chelsea, when clients come to us these days and they ask, should they stop focusing on traditional SEO, what are you saying to them?
They should expand their strategy. So they need to keep ranking for keywords like they always have, but then also be optimizing their content for AI search and to increase visibility, making sure that content is being stretched across many different channels.
So how do we keep up with these constantly changing AI tools?
It's a big effort. But you have to start somewhere. You have to dedicate a portion of your time that you have available to keeping up to date on the changing landscape, and start with small updates, small projects, figure out if they're working, and then if they are working, scale them, because you can't do everything at once.
So let's wrap up this episode with a few action items on how to survive in this, post-click era. So optimize for answers, not just rankings. We heard that. You also talked about that we should show up where conversations are happening, not just where searches are starting, and that we need to start measuring for things like impact, not just, impressions and clicks and things like that, right?
Yeah, AI isn't killing visibility. It's just changing when, where, and how it happens. So you need to meet your customers where they are.
Great. Thanks for being here, Chelsea. This has been great.
No problem.
And thanks for watching. This is Humanology on Air.